Buying properties at the auctions will require some level of due diligence from real estate investors. To find out on what's required, I am here to meet up with a seasoned real estate investor and mentor to aspiring property investors, Dunisani Manganyi. Hi Dunisani, welcome to All About Property.
Thank you, Sylvia. It's good to be here. So excited.
I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you.
So Dunisani, majority of property investors, they find investing at the sheriff's public auction an attractive way of buying property. So now I would like us to talk about some of the due diligences that property investors should be looking out for.
It's very important, more especially if somebody is not experienced. Obviously, these are investors. When you go and buy a property, you want to make money on auction. And some of the things that happen, unfortunately, if a property's got structural defects,
right,
in most cases, even though a purchaser or an investor can qualify, but the bank decline later on if they find that the structural defect is beyond what they were expecting. So it's very risky to actually buy without understanding that.
That's good information. One of the things that I've also heard about when coming to, especially your property investors who are starting from the beginning, is that sometimes tend to go to the auction and just buy the property. So do you have any advice on how to go about that?
The most important thing, Sylvia, remember, before you can actually buy any property, you need to make sure if there are any outstanding rates and taxes, there are any outstanding levies, because anything, all those are outstanding, as soon as you win the bid, it's your responsibility to take over because you're buying it on auction. So you need to make sure how much are the outstanding. Is there anything, in fact, all costs involved, it's going to be your responsibility when you buy on auction.
So how do they go about finding out about all the outstanding balances before going on to the auction?
So what they need to do is actually to contact the homeowners association.
Okay.
In particular, because each and every estate, for example, if you're buying in an estate, there's a body corporate representing that estate. So the information is ready. They can actually phone the body corporate or the management, the body management team. They can get that information. And with that information, they can then make informed decision when they go on auction. They cannot just only rely on the auctioneer when they get all these outstanding rates and taxes. At least they will just confirm what the auctioneer says.
And if the property is a freestanding home, where can we get that information?
Yes, that's very important. The only information that really they need from that are the rates and taxes. They can actually go to the municipality.
Okay.
The municipality is there and they will actually give them the information that they require.
So now let's talk about finances. Is it important for property investors to have finance prior to the auction, or can they go to the auction and bid for a property and then afterwards look for finance? What do you think about that?
That's very risky to do that, Sylvia. You need to make sure before you even go on auction that you have the money that is needed for any house that you want to buy. Let's assume you don't have cash. If you don't have cash, make sure that you go to the bank and apply for a approval. Once you've got a pre-approval basically they will actually look at what you afford based on your affordability.
Right.
For example, if based on whatever you're earning, you can afford $1 million, you know already that when you go on auction, you're not going to bid for any properties that are going to be more than $1 million.
Correct.
You'll only bid for properties that are within $1 million bracket.
Are there going to be other costs that are going to be involved when you're buying at the auction?
Yes, there's other costs. Remember, there's a sheriff commission that's payable. And also, there are attorney costs that are also payable. And those costs are paid by the purchaser. So it's very important to know that you are going to incur those costs. You need to know also about how much you're going to pay for those costs. And how do you go about doing that? It's very simple, Sylvia. One of the other tools that I use, there's a tool called Uber. I always use Uber. For example, if I'm planning to buy property on auction and I don't want to exceed $1 million, I'll always check on the legal cost based on the $1 million. Uber will be able to actually give me how much so that I can prepare if I'm ready to pay for those costs.
Any last piece of advice for property investors who are looking to from buying at the auction as part of their strategy?
What's very important for you to do is to make sure that you run the numbers. You need to make sure that before you can even bid, have in mind how much you are prepared to go up to in terms of the amount that you are willing to pay for whatever property that you have already checked. For example, if I saw a property that is worth 800,000 in a particular area that I'm willing to buy from, make sure that already, because you're not an investor not to make money, you're an investor so that you can make money. Make sure that you already set your limit even before you raise that hand, because an auctioneer can put pressure on you where you'll end up even buying that property higher than it's worth. So always make sure that you don't fall under that trap when you buy properties on auction.
I like that very much. So simply what this means is that when you go to the auction, go there having a reserve amount. Go there having done your due diligences, make sure you've got the finances in place, and equally make sure you've got a reserve amount that you're not going to go above.
There we go. Exactly.
This is
that.
fantastic.
Precisely
wow.
That, Sylvia. Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been exciting having you here.
Thank you very much, Sylvia.